Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Magic of Mayhem, episode 5 here, the Halloween special. And with that being said, I have a special guest here. My brother from another mother, like my best friend in the whole wide world, Mr. Jacob Moreno. Jake, welcome to the Magic of Mayhem. How are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on.
So the reason why Jake is going to get to be special guest too is not only is he just fresh off a Disneyland trip, which you guys know at this point, episode 5 here, we're going through our 8-part series of a Disneyland, but this time is Halloween and the holiday special. So those that are Christmas ready early, hold on. We'll do halfway through this podcast. We'll do like a little switch over to Christmas, and we'll give a warning to those that are in Halloween and don't want to get jumping ahead. We'll handle that. But Jake is fresh off a trip from Disneyland literally, what, 3 days ago?
Yeah, we got back on Wednesday. So yeah, we're 3 days out.
3 days fresh off of it. You went to Oogie Boogie, right?
Went to Oogie Boogie, went to Disneyland, and we went to DCA.
Oh, man. Okay, cool. I got lots of questions for you, and I hope you're ready for that. But yes, we are doing a Halloween and Christmas special here. We'll probably jump to Christmas later on, so don't worry. Everyone, we're staying in the current time and period right now of Halloween. But we've got lots of topics to talk about. I've got some ideas that actually are not on our list, Jake, that I sent you, so I'm going to be a little off the cuff for you. But I wanted to just preface right away. I'm a little nervous. This is my first time, like, literally interviewing and doing, like, a host thing. And you guys know at this point we're trying to be just really off the cuff. So, Jake, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, let's just have fun with it. I mean, we we have pretty good conversation when we just hang out. So, and hopefully it's entertaining enough. We can provide people enough information and enough opinions that they'll be interested in.
100%. Also, real quick, we got to do a shirt flash here. I actually have a Oogie Boogie shirt on.
Very nice.
It says your worst nightmare and a Mayhem hat, by the way. Got to represent. And what are you rocking?
I'm rocking the Anaheim Ducks hat, of course, which is Disney adjacent, we'll call it. And then I have the Violent Gentleman hockey shirt with the Hatbox Ghost. So it's on there. And yeah.
Money.
Wanted to get the spirit.
By the way, Violent Gentleman is, for those that don't know, is actually a hockey clothing brand. And me and Jake actually became friends and met each other through hockey. So that's why he's rocking a Violent Gentleman Hatbox Ghost hockey shirt, which is epic. But like the crossover that me and you both love and enjoy is hockey and Disney. So great shirt for tonight. Also drinking a Modelo, so cheers to everyone out there that's drinking. Jake is partaking too with water, but we're good on that one.
I gotta play hockey tomorrow morning. So
yeah, he's in the zone already. So real quick, before we get into our holiday special here, breaking news here. We're a couple days into this news now. The Lightning Lane premiere. Jake, right off the bat, without me breaking into this, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, we want to have this show be positive and have good feelings, but it's very difficult when you see the price tag that accompanies this whole new deal.
Okay, so if you are at Walt Disney World, though, price of $129 on a special day, you can't just be at the park and it's $129. Are you pulling the trigger?
Oh gosh, if it's a special day, being that I live in California and we traveled all that way, it might happen. Maybe. I can't say if it's multiple days, it happens every day, but it might happen. But at Disneyland, I don't know.
Oh, because that Disneyland price, $400 per person. Insane price, by the way. Insane.
Now, is that in addition to the ticket?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's rough.
So you're thinking minimum $520, $530? I'll ask honestly, how much did you pay for your single day ticket? One park.
Yeah, my wife and I were fortunate enough this year to have the passes for the first time, but we did price out some tickets just to kind of see what they look like. And a single day at the park now can run anywhere from $160 to $200 plus.
Oof, man, that is. I could hear my wallet crying in the corner over there right now. Honestly, that is rough. So here's my thoughts, at least for the Lightning Lane premiere right off the bat. Disney is not going for the people that are like you and me and having a annual pass, right? They're not going for the magic key holders. They are going for the individual that's going to be there once every couple of years, once every, I mean, you could do once a year. Even just those people alone, they're trying to hit that. So for the average person just coming once a year, you're tacking on $400 extra per person just at Disneyland, which is nuts. That are they going for the lead or are they not?
It's pretty rough. I mean, especially if you think back to when you talk about the magic of Disneyland and what was the purpose of Walt creating Disneyland. He wanted the common man to have a VIP experience, a luxury experience, and that just simply for a lot of people doesn't happen anymore. I mean, maybe if you really save for it and you plan ahead, maybe that can be a reality. But that's pretty stiff.
It's stiff, man. That is just it's a hard pill to swallow, especially I know everyone always likes to quote like, "Oh, Walt's rolling in his grave." But man, I think this might actually be the one that has him rolling in the grave. That is just a hardcore price at $400 per person. Although you still, so for those that maybe don't know what the Lightning Lane premiere is, so you don't need any park ride reservations, which is phenomenal. So any ride that has Lightning Lane, whether it's multi-rider or single rider, you get automatic to the front of the line with that pass, which that right there is like, oh, if it's a really busy day, you know how hard it is to get to the front of the line and how long it takes. Although, if you're really good with Lightning Lane just in general, or rest in peace to Genie Plus, you were able to like maximize that. But now with Lightning Lane Premier, man, they're getting to the front of the line or like easy. Does that kill your experience?
Oh, I mean, it can, right? I mean, if you don't purchase that ticket or don't purchase even Genie Plus, I mean that with the basic Lightning Lane, that I mean, people that just buy a regular ticket, they could not be getting on any rides, or they can maybe not hit all the rides. And maybe, unfortunately, maybe that's kind of what Disney's thinking. Hey, they didn't hit all the rides, they're going to come back.
Oh,
Right. So, I mean, it's a look, at the end of the day, it's a business, but that we talk about the magic can kind of disappear a little bit if you're not careful.
does the magic have a cost? That's
Yeah.
basically what they're dangling in front of us. Does your magic have a cost? But I have to say though, like you're front of the line, you're skipping like amazing queues. I'm a fan of Space Mountain's queue. I love Indiana Jones's queue. Dude, honestly, Mickey and Minnie's Railway, their queue is like just a homage to Mickey Mouse himself through the years of from Steamboat Willie to current. Like you're missing out on these cool things to see. Do you think that's worth it to miss out on a little bit of queue for less
Oh,
wait time?
I mean, you think about it. I mean, again, going back to the magic, the Imagineers, they created the rides, they created the queues to really fit into your total experience. So if you're bypassing that, you kind of miss out a little bit of it.
Oh,
And I think I mean, for example, my one of my favorite rides is Indiana Jones. That queue, amazing, right? Can you imagine just bypassing every single thing and just yeah, it's cool, you get to do the ride quick, all that, but you miss out on some of the experience.
okay, so with Haunted Mansion, I mean, you might be able to speak on this right now. So Haunted Mansion, the queue to get to inside the building, like being out in the cemetery and seeing all that cool stuff and hearing the outdoor music of Haunted Mansion. Now, was it open when you were there? I think it
it
was.
was it was
Did
but
you
the
virtual
queue.
queue it?
Well, yeah, we had to. So luckily, we woke up and my wife was like, "Hey, it's 7 o'clock. I think we gotta get on the queue." I literally, as soon as it turned 7, went into the queue and I was in the 31st group. So like within 2 seconds. So I mean, I think we got on the ride maybe about an hour and a half to 2 hours after the park opened. So that was cool. But to your point, the queue was completely blocked off because they're doing all kinds of work. So yes, we walked right onto it, but ouch.
Ouch. I think I have that obligatory pick that everyone has of pumpkin Jack Skellington waiting in front like on as a scarecrow style, and you don't get that. You just bypass walk right onto the ride, which
Yeah, yeah, I know, I
that's a
know.
bummer. Speaking of which, I just watched the Haunted Mansion, the newest movie that they did. Ugh, it's so good. It's low key scary, which makes it great. I'm not a fan of like scary movies, but that movie is amazing. By the way, Muppet Haunted Mansion. I don't know if you've watched it. You give me a thumbs up. Yes, it is one of my absolute favorites. Gotta watch it during Halloween time. So great one. But sorry, we are going way off tangent of what we were originally going to even speak of. But Premier Pass, my opinion on that, way too expensive. Disney is not going for the person that's going every month, every couple weeks, every 3 months, every 6 months. They're not going for you. They're going for the people that are saving up to have that experience. And if you're there for 3 days and say that's your first time in 3 years, you're honestly probably going to want to pay that money to experience the best of the best, which sucks, which drives everything more expensive. And that just, yeah, unfortunate. But it is a business. Disney is a business. As they say now, Monday is the new Saturday, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Monday is the new Saturday. Somebody posted, and I'm terrible at this for forgetting who it was, but Magic Baked, I believe, talked about it, that Monday is the new Saturday. But if you look at the price tiers of each day, the days that are the most expensive are probably going to be the cheapest days, or the most busiest days. The days that are cheap are probably going to be the ones that are not as busy. But yeah, Monday is the new Saturday, is the new talk of the town for Disney people. Okay, long-winded, full loop to get to Halloween. Halloween at Disneyland. We're here now. Jake, you were just at Oogie Boogie Bash. Now, have you ever experienced Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, which is in Walt Disney World? Have you experienced that one yet?
I have not done that. No.
Okay, neither have I. So we're gonna be very naive if we talk about it, which we don't have to. But if we talk about it, we are not experts as far as like comparison from Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween to what we have now in Disneyland, which is Oogie Boogie Bash. First off, rest in peace, Ken Page, Oogie Boogie, the voice of Oogie Boogie. I luckily got to see him during like the COVID years, like 2022. It's crazy that we say the COVID years, but in 2022, when they did like a tour of the original cast and a live viewing with a live orchestra, I got to see it at Bank Stadium in LA, and Ken Page was my absolute favorite part of that. Voicing and singing as Oogie Boogie live in person was the coolest thing to see. So anyways, sorry. So I'm breaking off topic, but epic experience, right?
Yes.
So before we break in here, go ahead. The door's open. What was your day like at Oogie Boogie Bash?
All right. So it was a really good experience. In particular, we were there for a conference. So luckily we got to stay on property.
The best.
And yeah, and we got to stay
where?
The Grand.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and what was cool about it too is where our room was located. It was actually overlooking the courtyard in the middle of the hotel. You know, that kind of open spot. And so we were overlooking that, and then just a quick elevator ride down, and you're right there in the park because we were right there by the DCA entrance. So it was, as you can imagine, it was pretty cool. So right at 3:00, we went over to that entrance. And we got in very quickly. And 3:00 is when it kind of unofficially starts. 6:00 is the official start. But we just had a blast. And, of course, it was busy from about 3 to 6. And then you started seeing the people, being filtered out, the people that didn't, have the pass for the Oogie Boogie. And it was a great experience. The villains were on point. The Grove was pretty cool. It's good stuff.
Okay, talk about the Grove, because I have not experienced that yet. I have not been to Oogie Boogie Bash in a couple years now. So the Grove, I always see YouTube and all the influencers always like doing a video in there, and it looks epic. What was it like in person?
Yeah, so when you go in, first of all, they don't open the Grove until it gets dark, right? Because you lose some of the effect, right? But when you go in, you kind of go through different areas. There's like an area, if I remember correctly, what is it? Alice in Wonderland. There's a Lion King area. There's just different villains. It highlights a lot of different areas. The effects are amazing. Whatever you see on video, way better in person.
I bet.
Way better.
Think of the. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just a great experience, and it's if you got a loved one with you, like your wife or whatever, so it's slightly romantic, yeah. But and it's a good experience for kids too if you want to take them.
For sure. I think the only thing that at least vividly in my mind of just seeing those things, is the signs that point one way or the other, and it flicks red and blue lights, so it just
Yeah.
constantly changes that sign. How cool was that in person? Because that's something I really, really want to see at one point.
Yeah, it's not just on the signs, but it's actually on the rocks and everything too. Like it's on, I believe it's on some of the trees as well. But their use of special effects and the smoke and all that, it makes it really cool. And if I remember right, at the end, there's a really when you're walking out, there's a really bright light, almost like you're walking into heaven. It's like it's smoky and bright light. I'm like, and then all of a sudden you're back out.
Oh
So
man,
it's pretty cool.
that's a cool way to end the in that trail, right? That's so awesome as far as like, that you went through hell, right? You went through the villain's trail, and then what? Well, bam, you're going through heaven,
Yeah.
which is so cool. So let's just talk about characters real quick. Characters that you only specifically see at Oogie Boogie Bash. So you got the Sanderson sisters, which is Minnie, Daisy, Clarabelle. You have Hades, which I'm excited to ask you about that one because Hades is one of my all-time favorite villains. Dr. Doofenshmirtz for Phineas and Ferb. You got Yokai from Big Hero 6. Judge Doom from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which I want your opinion on that one. Agatha Harkness from obviously the new show. Wow, I'm blanking out. Agatha's new show, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
and then you got Oogie Boogie and Ernesto de la Cruz. Am I missing anybody that's a little bit off? I know Mickey and Goofy, and is Donald too also Kingdom Hearts dressed up? I don't know anybody else off the top of my head. Am I missing anybody?
Sid from Toy Story.
Oh yeah, Sid. How
Yeah.
could I forget
Yes.
that one? That's a solid
Yeah.
one too. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, okay, so Hades is new, brand new to this year. Did you get to see him?
Yes, I did.
Give me a rundown. How cool was it?
It was very cool. The guy that played him sounded, just like the actor that played him. And I can't remember the actor's name. I actually really like the actor, but for some reason I can't remember his name. But
Me too.
anyway,
Uh-huh.
he did a heck of a job, and he was funny. And the characters, especially the live ones that are not just in the suit or anything, they're very very interactive. So you walk by and maybe you look at them a little funny, and then what's wrong with you? So like it's pretty cool. Yeah,
That
good job.
that has to yeah, take that magic how we've talked about. I'm pretty sure like episode 3, or was that episode 1? I don't know. I'm even losing tracks of my own episodes of that magic that Disney takes to take to the next level, right?
Yeah.
That they interact with you in character as if you're watching it from a movie perspective, which is cool. Dr. Doofenshmirtz was also a new to this year. Did you get a chance to see Dr. Doofenshmirtz?
I saw him as well. Yes, it's pretty good.
Okay,
And
did you ever watch Phineas and Ferb before?
no, I have not.
Okay, so
I have not.
so you didn't get the Perry the Platypus, and you didn't understand. Did you understand those parts?
A little bit, just because my brother and sister-in-law were there with their kids, and
The kid.
and so they explained it a little bit to me.
uh, uh, Probably the weirdest looking human character, right? Like it was strange. What it looked
Yeah,
like in person, I just saw pictures and stuff. It was like, oof.
yeah. No, they like I said, the live action guys, they do such a great job on like Ernesto de la Cruz. Oh my gosh, like that the guy that plays him is fantastic, and I
Did
think he's done it maybe the last 2 or 3 years. I mean, it could be somebody else, but good.
did he sing?
He did.
How was it?
It was good.
Oof.
It was good.
Oof.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he's out there talking, and he's saying stuff like, I did what I had to do, and wouldn't you do, just like I said, it very interactive, and that's what's really cool about it. It's
Oof.
just, yeah,
Just staying in character, and you're like, oh man, like I get your story, but I don't get your story, man. You're also a villain. Like that's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of like spitballing here on the characters, and then Judge Doom was also who I really wanted to like highlight. Did you get to see Judge Doom? I,
yes, and I also got to see him last year.
oh, sick. Okay, so is his area not packed like compared to the other ones? Because I heard or I read this year that his area wasn't as like he's off the beaten path. Where is he located first off, and then if you remember, and then was he not as busy as most of the other ones?
Yeah, so the 2 years that I've seen him so far, so last year and this year, he's over right next to the hangar for Soren. right? So like if you're going past Soren and you're heading over to the Redwood, the haunted forest area. If you're heading over there, it's right in between there, and it's kind of backed off. So that's why like you don't see them, and it's a really cool setup. I mean, they put a lot of work into that, and it's unfortunate because I don't know if everyone got to see him, but it is. I didn't really know the character a lot myself, but he was good.
Oof.
I mean, the effects, him talking, like he was a bad dude.
So you're saying Who Framed Roger Rabbit is not on your top 10, top 5?
No,
Oh,
I never watched it as a kid. I don't
oof.
know.
Oof. Okay. All right. We'll have to talk about that later on a more
Yeah,
personal note because it's one of my
hot take.
faves. It's one of my hot take. That's actually probably you know what? Apparently it's not controversial because a lot of people don't go and see him. Like that
Yeah,
he's a very cool character. By the way, played by Doc from Back to the Future, like amazing character, amazing actor. Oogie Boogie obviously going to be a highlight that it's his Halloween show. Um, treat trails. Let's just kind of shift over to that. On the treat trails, how was it like candy wise? Did you get a bunch of candy?
yeah. So I mean, I got a ton of candy, probably accompanied with diabetes. I mean, it's that. It's that. I mean, my nephew and my niece, two little kids, they got 10 pounds of candy.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's a lot of candy.
a lot of candy. I mean, when you go through these treat trails, there's 4 or 5 stops in each one, and they give you a handful. So I mean, you load up quick, and some years the candy is better than others.
Ooh.
This year the candy was good.
Oh, okay. Okay, so compared to last year, was it not as good?
Yeah, like so, I mean, it's not like it's off-brand candy, but it's like this year there was a lot of Snickers and M&Ms and M's and
Oh,
like the faves, right?
hell yeah.
Last year it was more goldfish than I could count.
Goldfish.
Goldfish,
Uh,
apple slices, grapes.
they went the healthy way, and then this year they made it right for you.
Yeah, hell, I had a dental floss in one of them. I could.
What? That's nuts. I love to hear that. Oh, that's so awesome. Uh, excuse me. I'm just breaking down because that's hilarious. Uh, okay, so treat trails. You got lots of candy. That's awesome. Rides. Did you do any rides this year? Did you do any rides last year?
Yeah,
What are
stripping.
lines looking like at that
Are
time
we
too?
talking Oogie Boogie, or are we talking
Just Oogie Boogie. Just
just
during
Oogie
the
Boogie?
Oogie Boogie time.
Yeah, yeah. So that the Oogie Boogie time is good. Like I said, once they kind of filter some people out, it becomes much more. Everything's much more available. So I mean, we got on cars in 25 minutes. We got my little nephew and I. We rode the Goofy, very underrated ride. It's one of the classics. It's scary to me, and it's very uncomfortable because I'm a bigger dude. but it's worth it. And that ride we rode 4 times in a row, just boom, boom, boom,
Oh wow.
and yeah, no, we got everything in. I think we rode. I want to say we rode everything with the exception of probably the Toy Story, Woody's that everything else. Yeah,
Wow. 25 minutes for cars is like unheard of these days. Unheard
yeah,
of. That's
yeah.
that
You got to buy a $400 pass to do that.
nowadays for sure. But hey, at night, cars is underrated. It is such a good ride. Same thing. Did you do Incredicoaster, by the way?
Of course,
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's on the top list. Guardians? Guardians?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah,
okay. I'm just spitballing here because I know there's so many great rides in DCA that are underrated. I think the whole DCA side is underrated because of how great the rides they got on that side.
yeah,
I would say, and I've talked about this in the past, but thrill rides. If you want thrill rides, you go DCA, right? You got to.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's of course a couple in Disneyland that are really good. You got your classics, the mountains,
Yes.
and then of course Rise of the Resistance. I mean, that's. I mean,
Oof.
yeah,
Rise is up there. That's
yeah,
got to be probably the best ride Disney has.
yeah. I think so.
And then I'm sure both Star Wars nerds when it comes to that. But oh, so amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on here. Okay, decorations as far as the park from normal to Halloween style. What what are some of your favorite things whenever you're walking through the park that you kind of just take a step back and kind of you're just like, oh man, like this makes sense, or this really just brings it to a next level. I've got my own opinions and thoughts, but I just want to hear yours, and then I'll follow behind you.
Yeah, of course. So I caught myself on this trip. Sometimes you just kind of feel like you're blessed, right? You're lucky to be there, right? Because it's a great experience, and they do still do a good job, highlighting the magic. So walking in to Disneyland, or we talked Disneyland, everything,
Everything right now.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So when we walk into Disneyland and you see, you talked about it in one of your previous episodes, the Mickey face and the flowers, right? And the Halloween one, maybe he's got a mask on or something. And then you walk through and you see the giant pumpkin, of course, and you see all the orange lining Main Street, USA. And that is just such a magical moment. And all the treats, at the cart, the special treats for the Halloween time. It's just a great one thing that was interesting. And I'll be quick.
Don't be quick. Don't be quick.
The one of the weird things was the day we were at Disneyland, we went to the castle and half of it was covered in snow. So people were taking pictures and posting on Instagram, "Merry Halloween?" question mark. Yeah, yeah. And apparently we didn't know, but apparently with like a day or two after we left, they were filming something for the for the Christmas season.
Yes, that I do know. I don't know. One of the social media accounts on Instagram, it was posted that they were there during the filming, which is sick. But it looked really strange. And if you were there not knowing, which I'm sure like 90% of people didn't know that they were gonna film at that point, they literally had a scissor lift right where the Walt and Mickey statue is, just scissor lifted up, and then they had like a leaf kind of blockade around the whole thing where they were filming. And I was like, oh man, if you're there for the magic, that takes you out of it a little bit right there. Just a big old scissor lift in the middle of the park.
Yeah, just a little. I mean, they won't let anybody fly over the park, because it messes the ambiance. But they'll put giant walls up, and
Giant
everything.
walls, all the scrim, all the things that just take you out of the magic. So
Yeah.
that's good. Any other like things that when you were in Oogie Boogie, maybe at DCA side, anything that is out of the norm that you really like, or maybe made you stop for a second and be like, oh, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, of course it's the headless horseman
Yeah.
right there in the front. I mean that's the coolest thing, and especially because smoke comes out of it periodically. That's just it's a great statue, and that's one of my favorite stories of all time. I love the headless horse. Matter of fact, I really one day I want to do a trip to actual Sleepy Hollow in New York. So that's probably the best thing in DCA. DCA is not, I mean, it's decorated, but it's not quite like Disneyland, right? You don't feel it quite as much, but it definitely looked nice. They did it, especially with the Oogie Boogie stuff on Carthay Circle and all that.
God,
Like
yeah.
the bats coming out,
Oh.
like the bats and the headless horseman. There we go.
You're nailing all my little points that I was like, oh, okay, here I'm gonna fill in at this point, and then you just swept it all underneath. Okay, I'll start on DCA side. Headless Horseman absolutely puts you in the magic mode of like, we're in Halloween, man. The Headless Horseman is so cool to see. Also in the parade, which we'll talk about parades here. Hopefully you saw the Frightfully Fun parade. But to see the headless horseman in DCA, you're like, ooh, we are in the good time of the year. It is holiday season, and you see him as a statue just riding that horse. It's so epic, a great scene to see. And then, as you said, Carthay Circle in that area. It's right all in that same area. Carthay Circle with the Oogie Boogie overlay on top of it and the bats flying out of it. It dials in the home that you're in Halloween time at Disneyland just in general. Last year, was it last year? Yeah, last year I actually got one of the haunted trees from, man, I'm going to screw this up, of one of the cartoons back in the day. But it was a haunted tree, and it carries 3 apples. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and it's a shot glasses basically, and it was a apple martini shot glasses that they did on these 3. Well, my wife was pregnant at the time, and I had to pound all 3 of them, which was epic. But the box that it came in was super epic. It was just a flat, like a matte box, black box, and then it was gold etched of the tree. I'll wind up posting this on Instagram, so I'll highlight this right now. But it was a black box, and it says Carthay Circle in gold on this box, and then it has the tree in gold on the box, and it's such a cool thing. And we just happened to be there on the day that it got released, so it was super cool that I was like, I'm ahead of all those influencers, suck it. So it felt cool to be part of that. But yes, Headless Horseman, awesome. Always sets the tone that we're in Halloween time. Also, what street? I always mess this up. What's the street in DCA? What's that called?
The street in DC.
Yeah, like
Like,
right
is
when
it?
you walk into the thing. Walk in.
Oh
Is it
gosh, you know what?
California Street? It's not going to be
I
California Street.
I don't know. I gotta be
Okay,
honest. I
look
don't.
at us looking
I know.
pitiful with our Disney experience here. So because I'm going to cover our butts right now, you know what? We're covering our asses. Okay, I'm going to say it. Covering our asses. We'll go to the Main Street USA side since I can talk about that. You nailed it on the Mickey pumpkin. So cool. Main Street USA looking very Halloween with their wreaths with the little Mickey pumpkins in them, and then to see the castle epic, but the snow right now. So was it? We'll have to see. Was that just temporary that they put the snow caps on and they're going to take it off? I should see. I'm going to just start hunting people's Instagram profiles and watch. Oh, they were at the park today and take a picture of the castle. That's what I'm going to look for and see.
Yeah.
Was it just a temporary thing for the special? By the way, love the specials. I was there when, oh man.
Oh yeah.
Who, why am I, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt. So, okay, we were walking out of Disneyland and we're like, what is this line of like 5 people? And there's all these chairs. Like, what is this happening right now? Never dawned on us, never anything. We could have like been just jumped in line and been like 7th in line. So we could have been front row. And then we find out as we leave that it was Chris Pratt that was leading the holiday processional or the holiday special for Disneyland. And we were like, what the heck were we doing? We were making fun of people waiting in line, and we could have been 7th in line, could have been front row to see Chris Pratt lead the Christmas special. And I was so mad about that. So mad.
We saw Chris Hemsworth do it a number of years ago, and that was pretty good. And it was funny because he's reading the nativity and he's talking about the about, I think it says like and they set the Lord down, and he said, no, not Lord of Thunder. It was pretty funny. Like it was, he did an excellent job. But that's a good time for sure.
Yeah.
A celebrity watch, actually, we did see 2. I saw Dirty Dom Mysterio, the wrestler.
Yes.
I saw him, and then my wife. I wish I could have seen him, but my wife saw Charlie Conway.
Whoa.
Josh Jackson. Yeah, so he was there.
Oh, wow. Celebrity spotting while you were there. That's epic. That's way cool. So
it was cool.
Overall, good trip for you this last time.
Very much. Yeah, very much so.
Okay, so we're jumping back and forth, but I don't care. We're just off the cuff, like I've said. Parades. Did you see the Frightfully Fun parade? Did you get to watch that?
Yeah, I got to see parts of it. I got to see, of course, the Horseman and Ichabod. That horse they use is the biggest damn horse I've ever seen.
She's huge, man. Huge.
Yeah, a huge horse. And then got to see the other villains come through later. I don't always watch the parades because I figure, hey, I can get some rides in, when this is going on. So, but they do a great job. They're always good.
So, question for you: speed of the parade, is it slow or is it fast?
Ooh, maybe I just hit it at the right times, but like when you're trying to get to certain parts of the park, it's closed. I didn't have to wait any more than just a couple minutes to get across. So I felt like they did a good job of, hey, once it's through here, let everyone go. Whereas in the past, you waited the whole time.
Ooh.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So compared to last year, I know I've seen a lot of people complaining that just the pace of that parade is just kind of slow. It's like it's a little bit longer than normal because it's just so spaced out. But man, to see the guy that's riding the Headless Horseman, it's so sick.
Well, and I think they have it, I think it's very purposely paced because they have those sections where, you can pay to sit there and have dessert, right?
Ooh,
so, you
points.
want to put on a show.
Ooh, good points. I never even would have thought that. Yeah, people that are paying that extra money to see it and enjoy their desserts and stuff like that. Ooh, Jake, that's a great point. I mean, that's what I want from you, okay? The rest of the show for here, you've got to bring out those great points like that because I didn't think of that at all. I was just like, God, this is just a slow freaking parade. So you're like, hey, we just talked about it, right? Disney is a business. They're trying to make that money off of you. Oof, good one. Any merch? Did you buy any merch this year? Anything cool? Anything that that just caught your eye with that you didn't wind up buying? Anything like that?
It's funny. We the last couple years, I feel like the Halloween merch in particular has kind of suffered.
Ooh.
I think it's kind of since COVID, really. I mean, the year after when they opened it up, they had some really good stuff, and my wife really had a good time, and so did I. I mean, I can't put it all on her, but when we got to the last couple years, or yeah, the last few years, I should say, I just feel like there's nothing really that we really liked. We ended up the one piece of merch that we did end up buying, other than treats, of course, because we get all the crazy treats. Which, by the way, the treat cart in the Grand. Have you ever seen
Oh,
that?
dude, they crush it, do they not? There's
Oh,
so many goodies at the one
yeah.
right there. It's just a little small little one too. It's nothing
Yep.
crazy, but holy crap, dude, they have some of the best treats there.
Yes, they do. It's a hidden gem along with the Craftsman bar, I think it is.
Love that place.
Well, so or Craftsman's Grill, and the bar. But yeah, no, great place. As far as the merch that goes, though, we ended up getting a Christmas wreath already because they had
Whoa.
Christmas stuff there.
Wow.
So
They
yeah,
were they were I mean, they're trying to capitalize every holiday as quick as possible.
I
Did
mean,
that
they're selling Halloween stuff in August, right? And they're bringing it in there, and then the Christmas stuff's coming in September.
which is crazy.
So yeah.
You think about it though, we had my wife and I had this conversation. After July, what holiday do you got? They could literally sell in August,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and
and people are ready for it.
yeah, people are ready for it. I have to say I have to wait till after Thanksgiving to put my Christmas tree up, but don't doubt that I am chomping at the bit to get that thing up before Thanksgiving. But I got to tell myself, enjoy Thanksgiving. I want to be a fat and just enjoy some Thanksgiving stuffing and enjoy that turkey. But man, does that tree like nipping at my heels? Like, hey, put me up. Let's go. Let's go. Isn't the anticipation for a holiday better than the holiday day itself?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, especially where we live, in Central California, where it's hot. Hot from May till hell
Yeah,
October.
I mean, yeah.
You're jonesing for it. You're ready. You want the holiday because I work in ag, so I really enjoy harvest and I really enjoy this time of year. So when I get to experience that at Disneyland, it's extra magical. And Yeah, it's just so you're like I said, you're ready for it. And when it finally comes, when the day like Halloween comes, you're like, oh man, it's already passed. And then before you know it, it's Thanksgiving, and then before you know it, it's Christmas, and it's all gone in a blink of an eye.
In a blink of an eye. I always say the days fly by of the actual day. All that anticipation to build up is where it's like, oh man, we're getting closer, and then the day comes and it's like gone. It's so
Yeah.
quick. It's so quick. Okay, so since we're just, I love it. We're spitballing here. I keep saying that we're going off topic, but you know what? We don't have a topic. We're just
Hey,
talking as we're talking.
hey, we're following through.
That's
That's
right.
good.
We are. We are. Not any, four rides that specifically kind of go with Halloween theme here. We have the Haunted Mansion Holiday. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark. We have Mater's Graveyard Jamboree. And then we got Luigi's Honkin' Halloween. I love Cars Land. I love that they change from life it could be a dream to I put a spell on you. Did you get to see that by chance this year?
I did not.
So did you know that happens?
No,
So
no.
instead of like life could be a dream, okay, anything like that, they start it like that and then like they cut it and then it becomes I put a spell on you. Epic way for your transition from sunset to dark time. They do that just like normal, like the cars, all the lights turn on in Cars Land. But yes, it is now. I put a spell on you, and oh man, is it so cool to see instead of being like the normal life could be a dream. Which hey, Loki still amazing. Always going to be amazing. It just brings you back to watching Cars, and you're like, oh, they're cruising right now. Lightning McQueen just made the road perfect again, and here we go. But to see them do that, I'll have to send you a clip after this because it's freaking sick.
Yeah.
Way cool. Halloween time in Cars Land, they do great on their theming. Mater's Graveyard Jamboree, fun, but I would say Luigi's Honkin' Halloween takes the cake on that one. Did you ride either of those during your time there?
I rode all of the ones that you mentioned.
Okay,
Yes.
so give me a update. Which one? Just Cars Land alone. Are you Luigi's or are you a Mater?
Oh gosh, I'd have to say I'm probably a mater because when you take those big swings, my wife gets closer to me. So you, you know, I got to pay for that action. So, but yeah, no, that's a great one. Hey, one other one I don't want you to forget, and it's because it hasn't been in a couple years, but one of my very favorite rides, Halloween themed, is a Space Mountain. And what do they call it? What's it called?
I wrote it down. Okay, so I wrote it down, but I didn't. It's something. Hold on, I'm gonna Google this as we're talking. But I wrote it down. But the only reason I took it off was because I was like, oh, they haven't done it in Disneyland in a
Oh,
minute.
Ghost Galaxy.
There you go, nailed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But did Hyperspace Galaxy take that over? Is that why they stopped doing it?
Kind of, yeah, because they didn't want. I mean, there's the synergy of Tomorrowland and Star Wars, and they've kind of because they have their own Star Wars land now. Of course, they've tried to kind of separate that and turn it more back into Tomorrowland as opposed to anything Star Wars related. Now they still have the big merch store that's all Star Wars stuff. But I was so psyched because when I got to ride Space Mountain and we were going up into the tunnel, you're going up and the big like the I don't know, the black hole or whatever it is when you're going in, it turned orange. And I thought for a second we were going to get Ghost Galaxy and we didn't. But, it's
Oh,
all good.
it was such a tease.
Yeah,
Oh,
I know.
I agree with you though. Ghost Galaxy was legit amazing, and they should go back to it since hyperspace. They shouldn't go to hyperspace. Hyperspace, you got Black Spire Outpost, you got Star Wars Land. So keep
Yeah,
that over there.
yeah,
Space Mountain needs to bring back Ghost Galaxy because it was sick. I
yeah.
100% agree with you that was there. Great time. Man, yeah, they make some decisions sometimes, and you're like, oh, bring back the goat, man. It
I
was
know.
awesome. It makes
I know.
sense, just like the Monsters After Dark for Guardians. Like,
Yeah,
why can't we just have like Space Mountain After Dark and just call it like Ghost Galaxy? Like that would be
yeah,
sick. Even
yeah,
though technically in Space Mountain it's always dark,
yeah,
but
yeah.
Ghost Galaxy would be epic. Did you ride Monsters After Dark with Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
It was a great experience, and we took my 8-year-old nephew on it, and my sister-in-law. My wife sat it out because she has troubles with that ride, the drop in, the going up. So she looks like she's been had one too many cocktails when she comes off of it. So we avoided that, but ultimately great. It was really cool because I've seen it normally. I've seen the ride normal, but having that skin, if you want to call it that, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. That is such a fun. It definitely takes your breath away. That ride is meant to, and it is freaking awesome when it does.
Yeah.
Great time. Although, rest in peace, Twilight Zone. Hollywood Tower of Terror. I think we all
Yeah.
miss it. Although it's way better in Walt Disney World. I'm just throwing that out there. It is better because you get to actually like move through the room before it sets you up and drops you, which is pretty goat. Gotta
Yeah.
say. I will say though, I do miss it in DCA, so that's a bummer. Haunted Mansion Holiday, Jack Skellington. I just literally watched A Nightmare Before Christmas, literally before I jumped on this podcast with you, with my son. He loves Jack right now and Sally, so I'm like, cool. We're riding this out. We're gonna ride all Disney stuff as long as I can. And he really enjoyed Jack. Like he lit up every time he saw Jack. Anyways, Haunted Mansion Holiday. Do you prefer Haunted Mansion or do you like the holiday version? Or you know what? You can play both. You can play devil's advocate and just say you like both. You tell me.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, because the oh the Jack the Nightmare version is just really really special, right? Because you have all this. And when I was a kid, I didn't really know that. I mean, I knew the movie, but I didn't really watch it. And then when I met my wife, she kind of introduced it to me, and it's become one of our favorites. Matter of fact, every time we get back home from a Halloween Disney trip, we watch it, and then a month or two later, when we come back from Christmas, we watch it again. Right?
Hey, it is a dual movie. You can watch
It is.
Halloween and you can watch during Christmas. In Fresno, they did one of the years they had a live orchestra play for the music for Haunted Man or for Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried like a baby. It was
Were you there?
amazing, huh?
Were you there?
Yeah, I was. Were you
I
there?
was too.
No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, I was front row. Okay, I'm just saying.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well, yeah,
I was ahead of the game. Okay, I was there literally and bawled my eyes out. Something about a live orchestra and seeing like such a great, I mean, amazing music score. Danny Elfman score. I'm sorry. Danny Elfman crushed it for that movie. He's weird, just like Tim Burton, so it made sense. But to like hear that live orchestra, ugh. And then when I'm sorry, I keep saying it, but when I get to I saw Danny Elfman perform Jack and in front of a live orchestra again, just tears, because it's just something about the power of music. Walt Disney knew it himself. That's why all his movies are very music oriented. Just to hear it live is just, it's very passionate. It's very personal to each individual, but it also just so spiritual too, right? It just takes you to something that you don't know. That's why I think music connects all of us very well, because you just feel something, you know.
yeah, yeah. There's only one movie I can think of, and because they made a big deal of it, that did not have music, and that was No Country for Old Men.
Ooh,
And there
great,
and there, and there was no music whatsoever. If you actually pay attention to that, they didn't have anything, but
great.
it worked for that movie.
Yes, great movie by the way, and I just bought it this year on, I don't know, I what is it, Voodoo, but now it's Fandango at home. I own all my movies off that, by the way. But good times. Any food that you got this season or this time that you really liked?
Yeah, so there was something we had to get. We found it. It was a Rice Krispie treat, and it was from the Emperor's New Groove. It was the vial, the llama vial, right? And that was really cool. Of course, I mentioned the cart already at the Grand. There's a lot of good stuff out of there. Our favorite, or one of my favorite things, is a chocolate croissant from Craftsman's. Oh, unbelievable. But you can get that year round. But yeah, no, they, like I said, I keep saying this, but they do such a good job of coming up with new and innovative, treats and pieces at the park all the time. And we were there. I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was a Halloween where I think it was at the Royal Street Veranda, or maybe it was Orleans Cafe, where they had the Haunted Mansion desserts, and like they had a candle that was completely edible. And like, I mean,
What?
they do just great work.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. The goat though is really the Grand California cart. It really
Yeah,
is. Did you
yeah.
see the gingerbread house? What was it this year?
I believe it was the evil queen, but she looked like the witch,
Oh,
from Snow White.
sick.
And it's so cool because you get to see the ingredients in there. It's like 200 pounds of eggs and 100 pounds of sugar. Like all that's, it was really cool.
Last year was Coco, right? Do you remember that one?
I
I
think
actually
so.
got to stay in Grand last year. So, but I think it was Coco, and man, dude, every time I see that though, it immediately takes me to Haunted Mansion and seeing their one in the ride, which is, hey,
Yes.
what a cool like addition that the cast members made a decision like, hey, let's build a special one of a kind gingerbread house that's going to last inside the ride for the holiday season. So
Yeah.
epic. First of all, did you remember what it was this year? Was it the one that rotates heads? It was like Frankenstein, right?
Yeah, it was like Frankenstein. Yeah, it was really cool. Just such a nice touch, right? Because they do, and Christmas time, of course, they pipe in gingerbread smell, which is just great. But yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was really extensive, really big. By the way, I see you keep coughing. I did not give you that cold, okay?
You,
Don't tell your listeners I did that, okay?
100% Jake got me sick. Literally 2 days after I saw him, I was like, man, I got this cough. And it's now been, I don't know, everyone that's listened to this at this point has heard me cough every episode. So we're what, 5 weeks now from being.
It's impossible. You can't get sick that quick. It wasn't me. It wasn't.
It was not you. I just like blaming you for it because it literally coincidence 2 days later after I see you, I've got this cough. No, but definitely you didn't do it. Uh, that's a good one. Okay, something that I didn't write down for either of us, but I'm going to bring up at least my thought. Do you have? So I got one in my head. Any idea or thoughts of a actual scary ride in Disneyland or DCA? Is there anything that comes to your mind that you actually go like, ooh, like that scene or that part actually, like if I was a kid, like that might be a little scary.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that because it was fortunate because I got to go with my nephew and see, that we don't have children, but to see his face was really special, right? So he really enjoyed every aspect of DCA. He didn't go to Disneyland, but if we're talking something scary, probably I would say the Monsters After Dark, the Guardians, because that has like this almost demon looking monster in there. So he was enjoying it, but I heard him kind of lean over to his mom and he said, "Is it almost over?" So I could tell that got him a little bit, but overall it was good.
That's great. That's funny that he leaned over. He's like, "Is this done yet?
Yeah.
Uncle's trying to get me killed over here." That's hilarious. Hey, the only two scenes that I could think of, scenes on a ride that I would be like, "Ooh, man, like this is scary." First of all, Mr. Toad's going through hell. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know why I blanked on that. Yeah, you're right.
I love the transition though of it being the judge, and then as you go through, then it's Satan, and
Yeah.
he's doing the same move as the judge, and I'm like, oh man, he's passing judgment, which he doesn't allow. He's not allowed to pass judgment. We know that. But anyways, that scene as like a kid, I'd be like, what in the heck? I'm really excited to see Maverick's reaction to all these because one day I'll be like, okay, what's he gonna think like in this scene? Because this is what I think in this scene. But yeah, that's definitely a solid one that you're like, oh crap, like I just went through hell right now. Like what? I'm in Disneyland and I went through hell.
Yeah.
Crazy part. Second one was oh man, now I'm just freaking blanking out right now. How can I blank out? I'll come back to it. I will remember. Let me just keep talking about Mr. Toad because that's crazy. But then I'll get to it. I got it. Winnie the Pooh, the Heffalumps. That part is freaking scary, bro. Even as an adult, you're like, this is weird, bro. There's so much craziness happening for the Heffalump scene as it's going through the ride, and it's a Heffalump woozle is very confusal, and it's 100% true because you ride through and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this nonsense, right? Because it doesn't make sense. Like it's just so random.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. Yeah, and have you ever on that ride? Have you ever, when you're going kind of towards the end, you come out of that main area and you look up?
And you see
Okay,
the moose.
yeah,
What else do you see on there?
is the Country Bear
It's
Jamboree.
literally right as you leave the Heffalumps and you look back. Yeah, country, rest in peace to one of the greatest rides. Luckily, it's still live in Walt Disney World and getting revamped, thankfully. But man, in DCA or in Disneyland, like it should have stayed. As
Yeah,
much as I love Winnie the Pooh, you can't hate on the Country Bear Jamboree. Although their food's still phenomenal right there. Have you ever eaten in that spot?
yeah, they got some good stuff. Definitely like cold brews.
Ooh,
They got and good burgers depending on the time of year.
yeah.
That's the one thing you have to be careful at Disneyland. Sometimes those burgers could be drier than the desert.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
100%. 100%. You know what, Jake? I don't think we're going to Christmas. We're going for those that are listening and Jake right here right now, we're going to do a Christmas special, me and you. We've carried on Halloween way long and I love it. So, since we've done that, I don't want to keep you super much longer, but let's start doing like a hot take, yes or no. You tell me if this is what your go-to is. Okay. Right off the bat, we're going to go a Disneyland pickle. Are you in or are you out?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit
I'm
there. One
sorry.
more time.
Sorry. Disneyland pickle, are you in or are you out?
I'm out. No pickles in general.
Whoa. What?
Yeah,
Really?
no, can't do it.
Explain yourself.
I just don't like the way they taste. Just never. I don't like real strong vinegar. So I can't do it.
My wife probably in the other room shaking her head that Jake's just said no to pickles. I don't know if we can go on a Disneyland trip together just because of that right there.
Get get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Get rid of them. Okay. All right. Disneyland turkey leg. Yes or no?
Oh yeah.
Is that
Oh
a
yeah.
go-to?
It's not always a go-to. I don't go into the park thinking I gotta get a turkey leg, but if it's there, yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
solid. By the way, I'll bring it up at the end of this. Disneyland popcorn, yes or no?
Yes, yes, yeah. So my wife really likes it. So she'll say, "Oh, we got to buy some popcorn," and I'll snack on it a little bit with her. But it's good stuff. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I am a Disneyland popcorn hoe. Like, I've
Yeah.
gotta have Disneyland
Yeah.
popcorn. I'm one of those people that I walk in, I'm like, some popcorn sounds great right now, babe. I'm gonna get it. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, Disneyland, a churro. Gotta go through a solid churro.
Hot take. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh, you see my face right there. I was
I saw.
confused. I thought you were gonna say no, no Disneyland churro.
Oh yeah. No, the churro is a must.
Any specialty churros that you like or think about off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, because they change them so often, when they do special events. But the best churro I ever had, besides just a plain one, with some chocolate dipping sauce, was actually at DCA. It was the cart right over by Clarabelle's Creamery. Is that what it is? Yeah. And it was a churro with peanut butter and like a icing, and because I'm a sucker for peanut butter, so that was the one.
Me too. My peanut butter is goat, bro. Solid. But yeah, that's a different one, huh? It was just at that one spot.
Yeah, it was at that one spot, and I went there this year to look for it again, and it wasn't there. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh, that's brutal.
yeah, I know.
Okay, Blue Bayou, must or not must?
Yes. So it's become increasingly, as you know, increasingly harder to get in because that reservation system, in my opinion, it's ruined a lot of things. We talk about the magic, that's really hurt the magic. What I used to love about going into Disneyland is, if you want to go to Blue Bayou, I would call the park 2 months before, and I'd say, "Hey, can I get a reservation for Blue Bayou?" And they would say, "Yeah, no problem." And you get the reservation and you get the little email and you're all excited, right? And you go in and you're in Blue Bayou and that's such a great experience.
Oh no, we lost Jake.
And you can't.
Oh, okay, I lost you for just a second
Oh,
after you got the reservation, and then what did you say after that?
yeah, you go on the app and you try to get your reservation, and unless you stay up till midnight, on the day it's eligible, you're not going to get in. And even if you do, you still may not get in. So what we've tried to do is we go up in the walk up. They're a lot better about the walk up than they used to be. So now we go, like, we might have to eat at 3 o'clock, but we make it happen if we can.
So I'll give you at least one of my tips, okay? There's this website called mousedining.com. If you want, you could pay, I think it's either $5 a month or $10 a month. And as soon as a reservation opens, you set like the parameters for what you want. As soon as it opens, it sends you a text message to jump on the app, or it'll say click here and it takes you right to the app and you can reserve it right then. So
Oh, that's cool.
I'll have to send you that one. That's one of my cool tips and tricks right here for you.
Yeah.
But anything, not just Blue Bayou, but any reservations that you're looking for, it'll literally send you a text or an email and be like, "Hey, this is open. This is where you designated," and it stays on top of it, which is really cool. There is a free version of that. It's an email, so you got to stay on top of your emails in order to get it. But yeah, way takes that little bit of a pressure off of you if you're really wanting to make that happen. So one of
Yeah.
my favorites. Okay, so we said Blue Bayou, Oga's Cantina. Yes or no? Every trip.
Yes, sir. Every trip.
Hey,
Every trip.
got
Gotta
to. Do you get
gotta
the
do it.
fuzzy tauntaun?
No, I think I usually get the jet juice
Oh,
or the Jedi mind trick or the Coruscant cooler.
ooh. See, you got
There,
the list of what you like. Oh man,
yeah,
I'm a sucker for that fuzzy tauntaun and the nervousness of like, oh man, I might inhale this and I'm gonna die because they basically make you feel like that. If you
yeah,
inhale this, you just might not have a good time, and you're like, what does that even mean? But yeah, I'm a fuzzy tauntaun guy. Okay, so last couple few here. Disneyland during Halloween time or Disneyland during Christmas time? Ooh.
Oh gosh, yeah, 6 years ago, I would have told you Christmas hands down. I would have told you Christmas just because it really is special. And we did a lot of trips with my family at that time, and they were always just really good. And I like cooler weather, so you're pretty much guaranteed to have cooler weather. Whereas the Halloween, it could be a toss up. You could be hot.
Yes.
This year, when we, just a few days ago when we went, it ended up being really nice. So we were lucky. and it was overcast, so it kind of felt like Christmas because the way it was. So that was a good deal. But yeah, I mean, asked me 5 years ago, Christmas. Now it might be Halloween.
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh man,
it hurts. It
yeah.
hurts, but it might.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh okay, we're coming up here 9 minutes to 10:30 here. By the way, this is the first time we've ever done a night episode, so thank you for joining me on this. I appreciate you giving your time to be on this podcast. Question, when is your next trip in during Christmas time?
yeah. So we're actually going in beginning of December, the first week.
Okay,
Uh,
beautiful.
yeah,
You heard it here first, folks. Right after he's back, we're doing our Christmas special because that's going to be perfect timing for that. And Jake's going to volunteer, even though I'm volunteering him for me anyway. So Christmas episode will be with Jake at that point. Okay, last thing. This is something that I always do, but I want to see what your thoughts are. Okay, you're in Grand California. How are you entering Disneyland? Are you doing the front entrance or are you taking the monorail into Tomorrowland?
you're probably gonna think this is blasphemous, but I maybe have ridden the monorail one time. Yeah.
Whoa.
And to my wife's credit, she yells at me all the time. She goes, "We gotta ride the monorail. We gotta ride." And I just I just we haven't done it.
I'm
You know,
blown away right now.
I
Blown away.
I know. And the history of the monorail, I know. People are gonna be like, all right, turn off the podcast. This guy he doesn't know what he's talking about. But no, I think there's something so special, like we talked about earlier, of walking through those main gates. And I think that's why I do it,
Oh,
because I prefer that so much.
yeah. What a man. Now you're making me sound like I'm not a Disney fan since I am very leaning towards like 95% of the park. Now I enter just off the monorail since if I'm staying at Grand California and I'm just walking to that monorail. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna save my legs for later because
Yeah.
it's gonna be crazy. But hey, props to you, bro, for going to the so okay. So then that means that on your way out, you still go through the main gate?
Yes, we still go through the
Wow.
main gate. Yeah, because again, I like walking out and I like seeing Main Street USA. I like the last thing I like to do is to go through the Emporium.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I just Walt built that place with a lot of special things in mind, and the detail. And I'm sure you've seen or at least heard about the wall that has all the different bricks because he was testing, what brick was going to be best. You look at those things, and then we talk about the magic and the people that work there, the people that really care and love that place. They know the stories, and um, again, it's just a special place, and that place feels like it was built with love. Um, the Disney World is a great place too, but that place felt very commercial, and it's probably just because it's bigger, So it seems like, oh, this is just bigger. It's Disneyland on steroids, but Disneyland itself, I think, came from a really good place, and I hope they don't. Whoever's running it, I mean, I know who runs it, but whoever's in charge of making decisions for it, I hope they keep that in mind.
That is perfect. I can't add any more to that. The fact that you just rounded this podcast out with that perfect annotation, perfect way to just end it. Jake crushed it right there. You just smacked the grand slam, finishing this podcast off strong. I was going to throw in more stuff, but I can't top that. So we're just going to just wrap it up right there, Jake. Thank you so much, first of all, to Jake being part of this podcast today. This was kind of a willy nilly kind of last minute thing of, hey, like, do you want to just join me on this podcast? And he was more than down to help me out here. We got to talk about one of our great holidays, which is Halloween. He got to cover his trip, and I can't wait to cover his Disneyland Christmas trip because right now I am landlocked right now with a 9-month-old. He's about to be 10 months. Well, once that happens, those gates are unlocked, and me and him and my wife, we're going to be going to Disneyland as much as we can and spoiling this little turd right now. But yeah, Jake, thank you. I appreciate you helping me out with this. I appreciate you coming on. And any last thoughts, anything you want to say? Thank you, viewers, by the way, and listeners for hearing us out. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, no, no, it's an honor to be on. I'm very grateful to be on the show, and grateful to be your friend. And I've told you in the past, you're such a positive person. And in this world right now, there's not a lot of that. So just like I tell like I mentioned earlier, Disneyland, keep in mind this place is built with love. Listeners know that Austin is doing this show, for the love of it. And that it's not notoriety that he's after. It's not fame he wants to have a good time and lift people up. And good for you on doing that.
Thank you, bro. I love you. Thank you so much again. You're my brother. You know that. Thanks for everyone that listened to this or you're watching it right now on YouTube. Don't forget, we're on everything: Instagram, X, Facebook at TMO_Mayhem. We're the Magic of Mayhem podcast on every major platform and YouTube itself. Jake, again, thank you for wrapping this show up. He crushed it right here. Can't wait to have him back on again where we could talk about our love of Disneyland, our brotherhood, our friendship, everything about that. So thank you guys once again. Have a great night. Jake, you got anything to say? Say goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you again for having me. I had a blast.
You're welcome, brother. Thank you. I appreciate your time. We'll see you guys next time. Wait, hold on. Before you leave, our next episode is going to be, Disneyland Part 6, off the beaten path, things to do and funny moments that I can talk about of my, as my wife and I call it, misadventures, which is just traveling in general, but we'll include Disneyland as well. But we'll see you guys next time. Jake, love you, bro. Thank you again. See y'all later, okay? Stay safe. Enjoy the magic, and we'll see you later.